All right, we're going to go over our describe the distribution assignment to see if we could do the shape, outlier, center, and spread. Okay, so first of all, I was just going to mention that, we have two shapes that are skewed. So this first one here on the upper left is skewed left. So I'm going to use median and IQR, and I'm going to use the IQR fences on it. Number 3 is skewed to the right. If you're looking down, that's your right foot you're looking down at. So I'm going to also use median and IQR and the IQR fences. Okay? Now, 2 and 4 are relatively symmetric. Okay? We do not have perfect symmetry all the time with real data. Okay? Real data is not always perfect. So these are mostly symmetric. So we're going to go with using the median and standard deviation for that and checking for outliers with our mean plus or minus 2 standard deviation rule. Okay. So we're going to do that, making sure to be specific and include context. So here we go. So I'm skewed left, so I'm going to use median and IQR here. I computed my fences. So see here, I gave you this data. Sometimes on AP, you might have to find some of this data, okay? But I gave that to you, or it might be given to you. All right, so I gave it to you, so therefore I could compute those fences. And so I kind of drew those on here as well. So because of that lower fence, I can see that I've got several lower outliers. Okay, all right, here we go. Shape. Now, look, here's context. The California test score percents are skewed left and unimodal. They're outliers. There are no upper outliers, but there are several outlier test scores percentages below 69.5. I can't tell exactly how many there are in this data set because there's N is the number of items. So there's 1,326 pieces of data. I don't know what the heights of those bars are. So I just know there's several below that point. Okay, so the center of the test score percentages would be best described as the median because of that skew and outliers of what it says over here is 94. And the spread of the data is best represented with the middle 50% of California high schools scoring between 86 and 97. And see, I got that here between the Q1 and Q3, the 86 and the 97, with an IQR of 11. Okay, so next, number 2 was somewhat symmetric, so I'm going to use mean and standard deviation. So I went ahead and calculated my upper fence as the mean plus 2 standard deviations, and my lower fence is the mean minus 2 standard deviations, and it's a negative number. So we've got professor salaries, so hopefully we don't have negative professor salaries. So our shape of the faculty salaries are somewhat symmetric and unimodal. The outliers, there are no upper or lower outlier salaries. The center, the average, because see, I'm using mean. The average faculty salary is $62,300. The spread of the salaries is best represented by that standard deviation. And so I could probably say here the average distance from the mean. Average distance from the mean is $35,600. All right, similar ways down here with numbers 3 and 4. 3 was skewed to the right, so I'm going to use median and IQR. I computed the upper fence, and there are no lower outliers. It's a negative fence, and I can't have a negative unemployment rate, so I just didn't even mess with that. So here I go. My shape of the female unemployment percentages is unimodal and skewed to the right. There are no lower outlier unemployment rates, but there looks to be 2 countries because it does have a small enough scale where I think I can account for like how many pieces of data there are. So it does look as though there's 2 countries with upper outlier percentages above 36.55%. Do you hear context and specific numbers? Okay, have to include that. The center of the central female unemployment rate is best represented by the median at 8.25%. Okay, so overall we know, so that's a better representation of these ones that are going all the way up there to 40%. Central location, the median. And then the spread of the data is best represented with the middle 50% being between 6.3 and 18.4. So there's an IQR of that middle 50% was within 12.1 percentage points. Okay. And finally, here we go. I'm not exactly sure what the context of this one was, so I did the best I could. It's frequency of words, and then it says words. So I don't know if this was like the words on a page, the words in a card, the words of a poem, and how many of those poems had that many words in them. I didn't really quite have enough context to know. If you were expected to talk about context, you'd be given more information. But anyway, it's somewhat symmetric, so I used mean and median. There were my fences. And so here we go. The shape of the words, I don't know what this graph's about, but it's somewhat symmetric and unimodal. There are no upper, lower, or lower outlier word values. And the average number of words reported is 31 words, and then, or was that, 31.6 words. And the spread is best represented by the standard deviation. The average distance from the mean is 23.4 words. Okay? All right. There is your describing the distribution. Be specific. Describe with your socks. Be specific. Include context, and you'll be set. All right. I hope that helped you.